Ved 10. Presented to Mr. Bimak Butch Abensay Makailas. Presented by Binmer Morio Abella. First question: how psychological, moral, spiritual, and socio-cultural factors shape human values? Essentially, psychology helps people in a large part because it can help people act the way they do. With this kind of professional insight, a psychologist can help people improve their decision-making, stress management, and behavior based on understanding past behavior to better predict future behavior. All of this can help people have a more successful career, better relationships, more self-confidence, and overall better communication. Moral: recognize right and wrong, respect the law, understand consequences, investigate moral and ethical issues, offer reasons view. Definition of moral development. The moral in development of students is shown by their ability to recognize the difference between right and wrong and to readily apply this understanding in their own lives, recognize legal boundaries, and in so doing respect the civil and criminal law of England, understanding of the consequences of their behavior and actions, interest in investigating and offering reasons views about moral and ethical issues, and ability to understand and appreciate the viewpoints of others on these issues. Spiritual: explore beliefs and experience, respect faiths, feelings, and values, enjoy learning about oneself, others, and surrounding world. Use imagination and creativity, reflect. The spiritual reflected of students is shown by their ability to reflective about their own beliefs, religious or otherwise, that inform their perspective on life, and their interest and respect for different people's faiths, feelings, and values. Sense of enjoyment and fascination in learning about themselves, others, and the world around them. Use of imagination and creativity in their learning. Willingness to reflect on their experiences. Social: use a range social skills, participate in the local community, appreciate diverse viewpoints, participate, volunteer, and cooperate, resolve conflict, engage with the British values of democracy, the rule of law, liberty, respect, and tolerance. The social development of a student is shown by their use of a range social skills in the different contexts, for example, working and socializing with other students, including those from different religious, ethnic, and socio-economic backgrounds. Next, willingness to participate in a variety of communities and social settings, including by the volunteering, cooperating with others, and being able to resolve conflicts effectively. Acceptance and engagement with the fundamental British values of democracy, the rule of law, individual liberty, and mutual respect and tolerance of those with different faiths and beliefs. They develop and demonstrate skills and attitudes that will allow them to participate fully and contribute positively to life in modern Britain. Cultural: appreciate cultural influences, appreciate the role Britain's parliamentary system, participate in culture opportunities, understand, accept, respect, and celebrate a diversity. The cultural development of students is shown by their understanding, appreciation of wide range of cultural influences that have shaped their own heritage and those of others. Understanding and appreciation of the range of different cultures within school and further afield as an essential element of their preparation for life in a modern Britain. Knowledge of Britain's democratic parliamentary system and its central role in shaping our history and values in continuing develop Britain. Willingness to participate in and respond positively to artistic, musical, sporting, and cultural opportunities. Interest in exploring, improving understanding of, and showing respect for different faiths and culture, diversity, and the extent to which they understand, accept, respect, and celebrate diversity, as shown by their tolerance and attitudes towards different religious, ethnic, and socioeconomic groups in the local, national, and global communities. Cite and analyze trends, issues relevant to values education. Current issues. Most educators, parents, and even politicians have an opinion on what's going on in their local schools. Think of your own thoughts about what you see going in school in your region as well as across the country. What makes you feel passionate, angry, frustrated? Some of the issues receiving the most attention include the use of standardized testing, equity, and education, and the use of adaptive learning in the classroom. Trends. One of the great things about the education is that it's reflective with our data and use it to drive smart decisions. What have you heard about the newest focuses and slant in education? One of the top trends is a post-secondary education is a change in the higher education system. Contributing factors to this trend include the rising cost of a college, increased debt to income ratio held by graduates due to college loans, and the decreased weight of a typical four-year degree. The fact is that bachelor's degree is far from more expensive to earn and thus far less for the graduate in the real world than in decades past. Now, the latest trend in higher education is not to go to college. New models post of K-12 education are emerging that question the number of credits needed to graduate and the amount of non-essential classes necessary. With the rise of online education and students attending junior colleges and transferring credits anew from higher education is on the rise. Pedagogical approaches, methods, and techniques for teaching values. Pedagogical approaches, inculcation, techniques to instill or internalize certain values in students, to change the values to students so they more nearly reflect certain desired values. The methods, modeling, positive and negative reinforcement, manipulating alternatives, games and simulations, role-playing. Next is moral development, the techniques to help students develop our complex moral reasoning patterns based on a higher set of values. Next, to urge students to discuss the reasons for their value choices and possessions, not merely to share with others but to foster change in the stages of reasoning of students. Methods, more dilemmas episodes with a small group discussion. And next, relatively structured and argumentative without necessarily coming to a right answer. Analysis techniques to help students use logical thinking and scientific investigation to decide values, issues, and questions. Next, to help students use rational, analytical processes in interrelating and conceptualizing their values. The methods, structured rational discussion that demands application of reasons as well as evidence. Testing principles, analyzing analogous cases, research, and debate. Next is values clarification. There are techniques to help students become aware and of identify their own values and those of others, to help students communicate openly and honestly with others about their values. Next, to help students use both rational thinking and emotional awareness to examine their personal feelings, values, and behavior patterns. Their methods, role-playing, games, simulations, contrive or real value-laden situations, in-depth self-analysis exercises, sensitivity, out of classes activities, small groups discussion. The next is action learning, and their techniques is those purpose listed for analysis and values clarification. Next, to provide students with opportunities for personal and social action based on their values, to encourage students to view themselves as personal, social, interactive beings not fully autonomous but members of a community or social system. Their methods? Methods are listed for analysis and values clarification. Projects within school and community practice, school practice and group organizing, and interpersonal relations. The importance of integrating context-appropriate technology to optimize teaching and the learning. Today, we do not need to go to any further than our own home or even room to see some form of ICT in our lives. Whether it can be a computer, plasma, TV, or mobile phone, we all have them in some part of our lives. In today's society, people as consumers of ICT all strive for the one dream, the dream of connected life. ICT has invaded and transformed many aspects of our lives to the extent that we live in an environment that is dominated by technology which itself is consumer-driven. No matter how we perceive its presence, there is no denying that it is an important part of our lives and that is here to stay. E-learning, online learning, the presence of ICT in education allows for new ways of learning. For students and teachers, e-learning or online learning is becoming increasingly popular and with various unprecedented events taking place in our lives. This does not only open opportunities for schools to ensure that students have access to curriculum materials was in the classroom but also allows them to ensure students outside the classroom, such as at home or even in a hospital, can learn. ICT brings inclusion. The benefits of ICT in education is of such as the student in the classroom can all learn from the curriculum material. Students with special needs are no longer at a disadvantage as they have access to essential material and special ICT. Those can be used by the students to make use of ICT for their own educational needs. Despite this, it opens up new issues related to digital divide and providing access to ICT tools and resources for those who are less fortunate. Also, ICT promotes higher order thinking skills. One of the key skills of the 21st century, which including evaluating, planning, monitoring, and reflecting, to name a few. The effective use of ICT in education demands skills such as explaining and justifying the use of ICT and producing solutions to problems. Students need to discuss, test, and conjecture the various strategies that they will use. The core of teaching consists of 4 basic values: dignity, truthfulness, fairness, and responsibility, and freedom. All teaching is founded on ethics, whether it be with teachers, students, relationship, pluralism, or teacher relationship with their work. Dignity means respect for humanity, must respect every person regardless of gender, sexual orientation, gender diversity, appearance, age, religion, social standing, origin, opinions, abilities, and achievements. Truthfulness is one of the core values in teachers' basic task, which involves steering learners in navigating life and their environment. Honestly, with oneself and others, mutual respect in all communication is a basic aspect of teachers' work. Fairness is important both when encountering individual learners and groups, but also in work community. Fairness involves in a particular promoting equality, and non-discrimination, and avoiding favoritism. Differences